Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sunday Afternoon Smokes, your casual conversation podcast from the upstate of South Carolina. My name's Chris. I'm your host. I'm also the owner and operator of the Cigar Box, a mobile cigar bar serving the upstate and beyond. And if you've been listening to Sunday Afternoon Smokes and you enjoy these conversations, the best way you can support the show is just to give it a follow. I'd really appreciate it. So today I have the opportunity to sit down with Cody Stinson. Hey, man, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, glad to be here.
Absolutely. Cody's actually my neighbor. You live like 5 houses down?
Yeah, I walked all the way over here.
How was traffic?
It was great. It was great. Low traffic, no rush hour.
Yeah.
And saw a couple dogs on the way over, and absolutely beautiful day. I love our neighborhood. It's just an awesome place.
It is a nice neighborhood, and I didn't really realize that you were my neighbor until we wound up at the same church.
Yeah.
And then found out, these are the people that live down the street from us. And so, it's nice to have, your neighbors, but also now I know you a little bit better because, I see you every Sunday, more or less. And
Absolutely.
I just think it's fun to have somebody in your neighborhood relatively close, because this is a big neighborhood.
Yes.
But just to have somebody that you go to church with who lives a few doors down.
Absolutely.
I think that's kind of nice. So before we really dive into the episode, what I like to do on Sunday Afternoon Smokes is just let my guests introduce themselves. And so take a minute, say as much or as little about yourself as you like. And while you do that, I'm going to light my cigar.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so my name's Cody Stinson. We love living in South Carolina. Got a awesome family. My wife and I were married in 2009. I've got 2 great kiddos. My daughter just turned 13. My son just turned 11. We have a German Shepherd that's a year old and a Golden Doodle that's 5. And so it's a very active house. We were not quite as active until we just got the German Shepherd, and now we're very active and we're on the go. But he's doing great, having a blast, and so yeah, that's our home life. And then we're in the web world, so we run a company called Media Lifeline, and so we service about 400 clients in the web world, nonprofits, ministries, churches, small business guys, and we help them with their website world and also help them with software, CRM software, communications, some simple marketing, social media type stuff. So total web guru geek. I get to work from my house. That's probably why you're not seeing me much. I'm Mr. Introvert. And so I don't get out much unless the power goes out. Then I come outside. But yeah, so that's our world. And before that, we used to travel the world and install Christian radio stations. So we did that as a missionary. We met my wife at a Bible college in Knoxville, and after there, we hit the dusty trail and climbed towers around the world and helped install stations in a lot of places that the towers were not as safe as they are here, but got to see a lot of neat things and do some fun stuff. So we did a ton of travel, and then we ended up relocating here in 2018, 2019. And we helped a local church with some of their IT media stuff. And so the kids were getting older then. I said, you know what? I don't need to travel like I am because I'm not home much. And so God kind of transitioned everything into where we're home. We got to be with them and still get to help a lot of people all around the world through this cool internet thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's it in a nutshell, huh?
That's it in a nutshell. just a technology geek and just kind of love the tech world. It changes too much though. But,
dude, technology changes in a matter of just hours or days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just moving at the speed of light. It seems like the stuff that you use technologically just a few years ago is now a dinosaur.
Yeah.
How do you keep up?
It's exhausting. I told my wife. I said, I turned 40 this year, and I'm like, I'm getting tired. I used to keep up with it, but now it's like, okay. You're having to stay, indifferent. The only way I've been able to keep up, I can't keep up. Like you got your family doctor, right? He's your general practitioner. The truth is he doesn't know squat about squat, but he just knows enough.
He knows a little bit about everything, but not a lot about anything.
Yep. Then he'll connect you to the people that actually know the stuff about stuff. And so we've had to really, I don't know if the word is niche or niche. I never can pronounce it right, but we've kind of had to, instead of trying to know everything, dude, we used to do sound systems, live stream system installs, entire network, IT infrastructure stuff, obviously the radio world, antennas, RF, everything, dude. And then, training people in third world countries how to use automation systems and everything else through a translator. I did that in Iraq through a translator once for a station in Baghdad. Just craziness. And now we're like, wow, this is moving so fast. Now I basically had to step back and say, okay, I want to be really good at one thing. And really, I feel like the web is going to always be there. It does evolve. So keeping up with that world, and then having a software framework that integrates with AI, so on and so forth. So basically web and communications, I've had to streamline my focus down to where I can keep up with that piece. And let the other stuff go away. Like digital soundboards, I don't want to know about those anymore. Like I learned in all the analog, EQs and knobs everywhere. I love that stuff. You can look at it and see it. Now digital, you got to go into 12 pages of menus to understand anything. And so I kind of had to be like, I want to narrow my focus down.
Yeah.
And get more specialized.
Well, on the good side of the coin, that is what wonderful technology does for people like me, because I know absolutely nothing about sound and equalizing, and so I use this little audio interface called Vocaster 2. The name escapes me right now, the name of the company who creates it. But it's pretty much plug and play.
Yeah.
Like it handles internally all of the just keeping the voice balance correct, and because I don't know anything about that stuff.
Yeah.
And then what I was telling you earlier about my podcast host, Async, they make it just super easy. It's very AI driven. Editing is just a few clicks of a button.
Yep.
You record over Wi-Fi directly into the web browser, and it uploads to their server, I guess. I don't even know if I'm using the right word.
You got it.
Okay.
10 for 10, man. Yeah.
So it enables people like me who are wholly ignorant on this stuff to have a podcast. Because I don't know anything about how to do this. If you handed me an audio board that had all the sliders up and I'd be totally lost. I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Let's just push them all to the top. And see what happens.
Yeah. That's that ring sound you hear on movies when somebody comes to the mic. They're pushed too high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I told my wife, it's like keeping technology simple. We were talking about this the other day. I was like, everything we're doing, I'm like, so I won't get in the weeds. My business coach had me do a word for the year. My word was simplicity. Simplify. And that applies across all aspects of life, but in technology especially. What you've got here, great setup. We're sitting in your back porch. It's awesome. It's beautiful. Easy peasy setup. One of the easiest I've seen. Like I've not seen this thing. I've seen the slider things.
Yeah.
But how that goes to that is crazy cool. And it's keeping us level. It's just it's simple.
It's going to knock it once we wrap this episode and I do the editing on it. It's going to crush it. So this little audio interface here by Vocaster 2 just plugs by USB-C into my MacBook Air, and then these dynamic XLR mics plug into the back of this, and then I don't mess with the volume dial over here because I set it and I just leave it.
Yeah.
And then I push these two little buttons for equalization or magic, whatever the heck it is. But I don't touch them.
Yeah.
And then I just run with it. And here we are recording a podcast. It's super simple.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I really enjoy it, and I have a good time with it. So let's back way up when it comes to Cody Stinson, because everything you shared with me before before today was really interesting, because by all rights, you shouldn't even be here.
No.
You weren't even supposed to live.
No. So I was born in 86. To a great mom and dad. My dad's name's Randy, my mom's name's Rose. They were high school sweethearts working in the local Piggly Wiggly. And my dad was just starting his HVAC business, and they were expecting me. And I came 3 months early, and I weighed a pound
really early.
and 10 ounces. And I could fit in the palm of my dad's hand. He could hold me right in the palm of his hand is how small I was. And my head would go to the top of his fingers, and basically my bottom would be at the bottom of his hand, and then my legs would go up from there. But the doctors were not really encouraging when that happened. They told my parents, they said, well, your son, he's going to come out. He may live for 3 minutes, and then he's going to die. His lungs aren't going to be formed. The doctor said two illustrations to my parents. I'm like, wow, this was crazy. The California lottery just came out back then. And the doctor said, you got the same chance of winning the California lottery as your son living.
Jackpot.
And then he said, you've got the same amount of chance of a snowball surviving in hell of your son living. I'm like, wow, bedside manner, not good.
Yeah, that's not great.
And so anyway, it was what it was. It was in a rural hospital. I was born. I kept breathing. And everything was good. They threw me in an incubator right away. I had the cool thing, man, as a kid. I got a ride in a medevac helicopter within 45 minutes of being born. They threw me in an oxygen tube, threw me in the incubator, and then they flew me up to Charlottesville, Virginia. And I was there for 3 months. And my parents would go back and forth. They didn't have enough money. They'd work all week long just to save up enough money to drive up and see me on the weekend. And they didn't hold me for a long time because they couldn't. And then eventually they got to where they could hold me. And so that went on for 3 months back and forth. And finally they brought me home. So yeah.
How old were you when they brought you home? Do you know?
Probably 5 months, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I spent 2 more. I think I spent 2 more months in the local hospital than before I could get home from there.
So what have your parents told you about those early days?
You tear up thinking about it, but it's the faith that they had, what they went through. They didn't know anything. They didn't have anything. Neither one of they had faith in God. They had just kind of started their, I would say, Christian journey. Like they started going to the local church in town, and they were believers, and they the faith and the perseverance of them going through and being able to just keep pushing forward, not knowing the outcome. I couldn't imagine, going through that. I remember, wires too. I still have scars in my body today of an IV tube laying across my hands, all those type things. You got, I had so much stuff coming off of me. And I remember they would say, hey, when they would get there, all my vitals would go up. When I would hear mom's voice, dad's voice, I would go from not eating to doing great,
Yeah.
And all those little things. But we got through all that, grew up in a little mobile home trailer, and, on just on a little bitty piece of land that a farmer gave my parents. They bought it from him, and anyway, the growing up, I really didn't have a ton of. Obviously, I was in and out of doctors all the time. I didn't have, the only thing that was wrong was my eyesight. And so what they didn't know back then, there was a thing called retinopathy of prematurity, ROP. If they gave you 100% oxygen and you were still premature, your retinas wouldn't develop.
Oh, okay.
And so they just didn't know that. They learned it in 91.
A little late.
I'm like, thanks for that.
Well, it just...
But...
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
It takes time to learn all this stuff.
Now it's like they monitor that. Like they bring a retina doctor in right away just to monitor that. But so I was always like the case study of the local eye doctor. I would go, 2-3 times a year. He'd bring everybody in. I'd be there for 2 hours. They're looking at you. You feel like you're the monkey in the zoo. And but I grew up wearing patches and all different types of stuff. But eyes were the main thing growing up. I would always have to sit in the front of the class. Yeah. And those type of things. So I couldn't get away with it.
So you didn't have any other developmental slowness. It was just the vision.
Yep. I was small. I was 130 pounds when I got married. I've recovered now, thankfully. As we all have.
You've grown.
I've grown,
as a man.
Yes. I've, something about good food and married life.
Desk job.
Yep, desk job. Yeah. That's probably more of it.
Sedentary life.
Stress, desk job, sitting there behind a computer. I'm going to get one of those treadmills under my desk.
No,
someday.
You're not.
I'm not. Okay. There was one in our neighborhood group. I'm like, I'm going to buy it. I'm like, that was too late, man. Anyway. But yeah, that was the main thing. Yeah, eyesight stuff. I couldn't play sports because of that.
Yeah.
So my career in sports was in the T-ball field. And so I was loving T-ball, man. About 6 months, the eye doctor said, "You're doing what? Oh, you can't do that." And so I laid my bat down, and that was the end of my sporting career. But
Why can't you do that?
Well, if I get hit in the head hard, I'll go blind. So because of the retina situation, they will detach and they'll go blind.
Okay.
Supposedly.
So is your retinal attachment in your good eye, is it fragile?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. And so do you want me to get to my eye story? So,
sure. Yeah. I mean, we're just kind of flowing with it. Yeah.
So in 2020, my left eye was always not great, but I could see out of it. I couldn't really read out of it, but I could see peripheral out of it just fine. No problem. That's been my life. I've never had depth perception. So driving in funeral processions drove me nuts.
Yeah.
So little things like that, or like in the stores, odds and ends. But I kind of grew up, it was like, I've not known any different. Just had to be extra careful. But in 2020, had a little accident, kind of jumped from one part of a roof to another part of a roof, and I didn't gauge the distance. I thought it was 2 foot, and it was more like 5 or 6 feet.
Ooh.
And I landed wrong, blew out my ACL. My knee went 90 degrees sideways. I'm like,
Mom.
That's not supposed to do that. And then through a course of events, I ended up having a retina detachment a couple months after that. And so I was driving to Virginia to work on a radio station. I'm going over the Asheville Mountain, and all of a sudden, bloop, half my vision goes away. I'm like, that's weird. And I'm thinking, what is it? Do I have allergies?
That's not great. Like, number one, it's not great anytime half your vision goes away. But if that's going to happen, I just kind of want to be, sitting on the couch watching TV, not driving my car.
Yeah, over the Asheville Mountain.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, one eye's good, the other eye, I didn't know what it was. So being the typical man I am, I went and finished the project.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then I came home and went to the eye doctor the next day. He's like, "I'm scheduling you for surgery tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh, really?" So I went in, over in Greenville Memorial to the surgery center. Boop, they reattached it with laser. And actually, the crazy thing is my right eye actually had 2 tears as well. And he's like, "Hey, if you'd come in 2 weeks later, you'd have been totally blind." I'm like, "You're kidding me." And so he fixed that one, and so that's good. The left one, sadly, 2 weeks after that surgery, completely detached and just to the bottom of your eyeball. And then everything's very dark. So you can kind of weirdly see like weird things, but it's really dark. So I called. I'm like, "I don't think it's supposed to be this way." They're like, "Nope." So I went back in, and they're like, "Okay, your situation, the retina won't hold. And so we're going to have to put like a permanent oil in there and put a band around the eye and just let that set. And we'll keep the eye alive. We'll attack the retina where it goes, but then we got to pressurize it with this oil stuff just to hold the retina against the wall." So they did that. And then basically it looks like you're looking through 20 Ziploc baggies stacked together.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I ended up wearing an eye patch forever. Now there's a cataract that's on there that basically I can't see a thing. And that's a good thing. It's like an internal
It's probably
patch.
better than like having the looking through 20 Ziplocs all the time.
Yeah, it just makes it dark.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, I actually saw him last week. I went for a checkup. I go probably every 6 months. And he's like, "Yep, we're just going to stay status quo. The eye's healthy." But I'm the one-eyed guy. You wouldn't know it, if I didn't tell you, or unless I bumped into you, on that side, which I do. But yeah, so that's been the main thing health-wise. And that's just one of those ROP things.
So growing up with your vision issues, I imagine you thought, by and large, except for the vision issues, you're just a normal kid.
Yeah.
But as you progress into later teen life, and then into adulthood, having this vision issue, did that shape or have an impact on how you view your life? Or even like now, thinking about where you came from, what God did from your infancy till now.
Yeah.
Like, how does that?
Yeah, it was hard in the initial part. I was very upset. I was very bitter. I was like, "God, why?" I'm like, serving you, I love you, I'm trying to do everything right. And so I had to get across that bridge. And a good friend of mine said, "Hey, Cody," he said, "at some point, if you can get to the part and thank God for what you're going through, and thank God because he allowed this. We don't understand why. I do now. I know why now, but I didn't understand then." And so being able to kind of get to the point of like, okay, where I am now, I really believe God used it. Does it bug me every day? Yeah, it does. It's not convenient. But it is what it is. I'm so thankful for my right eye. And so I have to keep remembering that. But there's things I can't do that I wish I could do. Situations that is tough. I used to be a total extrovert, not anymore. I'm totally introvert guy, just due to that. I used to be the guy going around shaking hands with everybody, not anymore. So that probably did change my life there a lot, kind of put me more into my shell. So obviously I do a lot of Zooms, a lot of phone calls, stuff like that's great. Not a lot of in-person stuff. That's changed that side. Laura and the kids have adapted and helped so well. Even if we're walking downtown, it's habit. Charlie, get on my side, hold my hand, not even say anything. And that means the world to me. And I'm like, you feel bad as that. You're like, hey, I got my dad. I should be able to do this. But then being able to lean into them for help has been good. So anyway,
it helps your kids in some regard just to know from an even earlier age that their dad he's just a man.
Mm-hmm.
He's just human.
Yep.
He needs, like everybody else, he needs help in some way that most kids don't see because, by and large, most dads everything works.
Yeah.
So, and you learn later on in life, I don't know when you come to this realization, but you realize my dad's just a guy.
Yeah.
And so it's good for them to see, and it teaches them to be a servant early.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yep.
Good for them.
Yeah. So I think it's helped us all grow together, tighter bond. And that's been good. Now we have fun with it, just try to laugh.
You make fun of it?
Yeah, I was sitting on the couch the other day. Laura's giggling. I'm like, what are you doing? I have to turn my head sideways. She's over there just waving at me, just fun stuff. It's like, hey, God controls everything, I believe, in our lives. I believe he whatever. If something happens, I believe he's allowed that to happen. I don't understand that. And I think that's the hardest thing for people to understand. I think that's tough. But so looking at it now, I'm like, you know what? God is using a couple ways. He's made our family closer. And then he settled me down. I used to travel everywhere and I could fly in planes. I can't do that anymore. I could do all types of stuff, man. And I was everywhere. But God used it to settle me down to where I can't do what I used to do, but now I feel like we're doing what he has for us to do now at the moment, in the web world, and which is pretty cool. So I think God, it was just like a shift of plan. If that hadn't have happened, I would have kept doing everything I was doing because I loved it, I love being a tower monkey.
Yeah. My wife and I, we make fun of her stroke all the time. And things that she does because it's funny.
Yeah.
And obviously you pick your moments. There are certain there are certain times where you don't.
Yeah.
But especially in her speech, and she's trying really hard to get something out, and she's struggling, and we'll both just die laughing because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But to your point about the why, like why God allows certain things into your life, my advice to people on that is to let it go.
Yeah.
Because you're never, ever going to get an answer on it, and you will drive yourself.
No.
You will destroy yourself, and you can injure your relationship with God. Yeah. And a verse that I love that I think about when I think about this issue comes from Deuteronomy 29. And it's Deuteronomy 29:29, where the children of Israel say, the secret things belong unto the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law.
Yeah.
And that, like, the secret things, that's God's business. It's not my business. It's not mine to understand or ask him why you did this or how could you let this happen, or that is his business. My business is just to do what he's told me to do.
Yep. That
he's revealed to me in the scripture.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's a much safer position to be in.
Yeah. You rest in his, some guys just call it sovereignty or whatever, but you rest in his, our life is his ultimately. Mm-hmm. And okay, cool. You got this. I tell my wife all the time, my new phrase is, okay, God, I'm going to give this to you. And I step back and say, okay, he's got it. And, pretty cool thing.
It's helpful.
Yep.
You sleep better at night.
Yep.
Because then it's not.
Yep.
I mean, you're doing the work, but the outcomes, that's not up to you.
Yep.
So, but let's pan out a little bit here. Yep. So you went to Crown College in
Yep.
Knoxville, Tennessee
Yep.
for pastoral ministry.
Yep.
A place that I visited whenever I was believing that I should go into full-time ministry, my pastor at the time said, you should go visit Crown College and you should go visit West Coast Baptist College in California. And I went and visited them both, decided to go to West Coast. But you went the other route, went to Crown College for pastoral ministry. When did you start considering that pastoral ministry was the path for you?
Sure. So, as a kid growing up, I was the only kid until I was 13. Then my brother was born. So my parents were scared to death to have another kid after all that. And then they had my brother, and he's doing great. He works with my dad in the business. He's doing well.
He was born
13 years later.
No, but I mean born on, quote unquote, on time.
Correct.
No,
Yes.
okay. Everything's good. Okay.
He was maybe 2 or 3 weeks early.
Yeah, but that's not abnormal.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we're not talking 3 months.
3 months. Yep. He came out all fat and healthy, He's still very fat and healthy. I love him to death. But he's a good guy. But yeah, so I was 13 when they had him. And then as a teenager, super active in my church, man. We'll go on missions trips, Mexico, Vancouver Island, Romania, St. Lucia, places like that. And I was on a trip to St. Lucia, and I was probably 14. And I just felt like God's calling in my life was to serve him full time. I didn't know what that really meant. And everybody kind of took that as, oh, you're going to be a pastor. Okay. And so I kind of grew up preaching in our children's church ministry at our church, running that every Sunday, helping with master clubs at our church, stuff like that, filling in for the pastor here or there, then preaching to different local churches in the area. And then I'm like, okay, this is the path I'm going. Crown was one of those schools, I think they've gotten a little broader now, but it was you either going to be a pastor or a missionary or a music person or a teacher. And I'm I'm definitely not the other three, so I guess I'll go pastoral.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. I think now they have more stuff, and they have a trade school and all types of stuff. Back then, they really didn't.
Yep.
I actually tried to change my degree to missions, actually, but I was too far down the track, and I couldn't flip it. So anyways, I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just go to there. So went there, I loved all the pastoral classes.
So you didn't really envision being a pastor.
No, I didn't know what the future meant.
But you just wanted that biblical training and foundation.
Yep.
Okay.
It was more kind of like what maybe everybody else thought I was going to be.
Yeah.
And less of what I really had no idea what I was going to be. My sophomore year, I'm like, okay, God, do you want me to be a missionary? Where do you want me to go? That kind of thing, right? And so I'm struggling, not knowing where God wants me to go. What do you want me to do? And I'm like, well, okay, I know I need to go to Bible college. I'll get maybe the foundation there. And then obviously pastoral ministry, I can shift anywhere. So it's crazy. God took me there for the connections and all the other experience I got. So my freshman year, probably the second Sunday in, I also grew up in my home church helping with audio-visual ministry and all that. My dad would make the cassette tapes and duplicate the cassette tapes back in the days, That was fun. So grew up in that world. I was a ham radio operator, all that stuff. Got my license with my dad when I was 14, learned Morse code. We can get into that if you want to later. So much fun. So I was always in that tech bubble, and I showed up at Crown. They got cameras, man. They got awesome systems. And I went up to one of the media guys. I was like, hey, could I volunteer and help? And they're like, please, we're dying. And so I was volunteering 40 hours a week, doing all kinds of stuff.
That's a lot of volunteering.
I was going in, cutting up audio files, doing everything for them. And I went to go home this summer, my freshman year. I had my car packed, man, a Jeep Liberty, dude. I fit the ironing board in there, and it come up beside my head. But anyway, and then the pastor reached out. He said, hey, would you consider, Pastor Sexton, could you come talk to me for a minute? And so he had him and a couple other guys, and they hired me on staff to work in their audio video ministry. And so I basically was going to school to be a pastor, but then working full-time as I was between video, sound, IT, web, producing radio programs, TV programs. So really all that little world that they had. And I went to a ton of my classes. It got to where at the very end, they're like, we need you to go do this thing and we'll make up your class. We'll figure it out. So I went through Greek, went through all that stuff, but the entire time.
Super fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I took 4 semesters of it. Oh, yeah. Because I was pastoral ministry.
Yep.
4 years of, and they didn't make the missionaries do that.
Nope. Wow, they got off easy.
They didn't make the missionary. They didn't make the evangelists
do that.
Come on, guys.
I mean, we had
a Mickey Mouse institution are we running here?
I know. Give me a break. Yeah. I think we had, you had 4 semesters. I think I had 4 semesters.
Yeah.
2 years.
Greek 1, 2, 3, and 4. Super fun. Here's the alphabet. Learn it.
Yep.
Let's learn sentence structure. Let's learn how to diagram a sentence. Oh my gosh.
Our final assignment was, I think, translate. I want to get this wrong. It was either 2nd or 3rd John or something.
Yeah.
One of those books from English to Greek.
One of the small books.
Yeah. So I'm like,
let's translate the Gospel of Luke. How about that?
Yeah. That was fun. I loved like classes like all like the I don't know what they called it, church administration and polity and stuff. Like you do the funeral home stuff, you do the
really?
hospital visits.
You like
yeah,
those?
Dude. You're gonna laugh. I love loving on people, and that was one of my highlights of like even. Like, I love loving on people, caring for people. So that side, I like that. That was a lot of fun.
That's like the practical ministry stuff.
Yep. To me, I'm like, that makes sense. Greek, not as much so, but that makes sense.
No, Greek, I'm not into that. What I really excelled at and that just couldn't get enough of were the actual Bible courses.
Yeah.
Like Old Testament survey, New Testament survey. And then you get into like the singular book studies,
like Daniel Revelation.
Daniel and Revelation. The book of Acts. Let's look at Life of Christ. We'll look at the Pauline epistles. Like I just devoured that. So my strength, yours is like, sounds like practical ministry. Mine is much more theological. Yeah. Like let's read it. Let's dissect it. Let's digest it. Let's get it out to people. That teaching, that is my excel. And of course you have to be both. And I think people don't understand when you have a guy that you call pastor, he's normally the guy that is speaking on Sundays and Wednesdays or whenever your services happen to be. But preaching and pastoring are two totally different things. Yeah. Now, the guy does them both, but I feel like just if I were to review my own life, my own past pastoral history, and we are often our own worst critic. I fully understand that. But I was a much better preacher than I was shepherd. Yep.
It's hard to find somebody that nails both those points very well, just because they're totally different. So I think that's an interesting look at, to be able to see somebody that can do both of those things. It's hard.
Yeah. So it was really in. I mean, you mentioned that you were doing some of it at home, but it's not until you get into what we would call Bible college, and some people would just call seminary. I think they're a little bit different, but media and technology start becoming part of the story in a much more concrete way at Crown.
Yep, for sure. So I'm starting to see, okay, I mean, I'm producing radio programs. I'm, run obviously sound, video, but I'm in the back of my head, I'm thinking like, radio, man, is the way to reach the world. I'm producing these radio programs. I'm like, all these stations around, if we can get stations around the world, put programs on, and that kind of was the thing back in 2005 to probably 2015-ish. Radio was big. It's changed now, but so that was really, I love that aspect and kind of jumped into it. And yeah, that was kind of what jumped us into that. So from there, we're just heads, we're learning, man. It was like boot camp. God gave me great people. I still every single day rely on stuff that I learned there, from guys that I worked with. And then the connections from there too. So buddies that we went to school with now, we're popping up, working together. Just got off a phone call before walking up here with a dear friend of mine that we worked there for many years together. Stuff like that. So it was that plus the media side, and then that translated into how can we reach the world with the gospel. And I got such a missions burden on my heart. I remember talking to Pastor Sexton after a service. I just made a bunch of radio programs. I said, I feel like God wants me to travel the world and put radio stations in. He said, okay, I'm for you. And I didn't know anybody doing it. So I told him that, and then the next day somebody said, hey, there was 2 other missionaries already doing it. And like, have you heard of these guys? I'm like, nope. And so I called them. They're like, absolutely. Come meet with us. So I went a couple trips with them, teamed up with them. And yeah.
All right, so let me ask you a question, and feel free to get geeky on this because I want to understand, and this is the fun stuff when it comes to Sunday afternoon smokes. Well, I really like to let people's stories unfold, but I do like getting technical. So it's one thing for you to say, I traveled around, helping put up Christian radio stations. And earlier you talked about, climbing the radio tower and, there's no OSHA rules in South Africa or
Correct.
where.
Yeah.
But walk us through the technical part of what does it actually look like to put up a radio station?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just take a simple station overseas. So there's one in a village called Kanungu in Africa. It's right on the Ugandan-Congo border. Went there, middle of nowhere.
A very peaceful place.
Yeah, we were there when there was fighting in Congo, like right across the border, guerrilla warfare, all that stuff. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, I'm like, yikes. So we rolled into this village. We would take everything with us from the States. We would take the antenna, the transmitter, all the equipment for the studio, the coax cable. We would take everything with us in backpacks. We take reciprocating saws. I mean, when we came through customs, they're scratching their head. We would take every tool we needed in bags and duffels. So we'd have 3 guys, and we'd probably have like 20 bags of stuff, And so it would depend. A lot of times a contacting country would help us get in, get through customs, clear that junk. And sometimes you pay them a lot of money and then you just go right on through. And otherwise, if they had connections, they're like, hey, this is for humanitarian effort. Oh, yeah, come on through. That's how Uganda was. They were like super arms open. Hey, they were helping us load our bags, And so we roll in, and we always tried to have some kind of a studio building of some type. This was on the side of a pastor's house. He just had a side room with a door and a window, and then
that's really all you need, right?
That's it. Yeah,
I mean, that's all
room.
this podcast is.
Yep.
Come sit on my patio table and we set up my computer and a few mics, and
that's it. It's super simple. So in this room, we would have a table. We would typically build them there, like we just get wood and all that stuff and build like a little studio table. There we used a reciprocating saw and sandpaper. I never want to do that again. We bought paint from the local Village Mart guy, some random guy with stuff, paint cans. It took 4 days to dry. I'm like, God, would you please let the paint dry? I want to get out of here. Nope, it took forever to dry. Anyway, it finally dried. But we built the desk, and then what we type typically, so we're going to go super geeky, we would run a Mac computer, like a Mac Mini. You're an Apple guy. I'm an Apple guy. We would run. I hate Windows. I'm just totally.
I'm not. I have an Android phone. But when I wanted to buy a laptop, I mean, I used to have a Mac desktop.
Yep.
But I just know they work, and they work really well. Yep. And so I just, whenever it was time to, because after like 3 or 4 or 5 different trials of trying to figure out how to do this podcast and make it work, what I figured out is I couldn't run the podcast from my tablet because it didn't have the juice to power the audio interface here. I needed an actual computer.
Yep.
And so that was the final thing, and I figured it out. So instead of buying I didn't want a desktop.
Yep.
And I didn't want to deal with Windows.
Yeah.
So I'm not an Apple guy, but just for this purpose, I did buy a Mac.
I like it.
No offense to Apple.
We'll get you an iPhone war. We're going to work on that.
I'm not going for the blue bubble, man.
We're going to get you all the way saved. We're going to get you. I love it. But yeah, I love it. Not the blue bubble. That's why yours is the green bubble. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, now you're going to discriminate against me, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay.
A little bit.
Add you to my prayer list. Be all right.
Yeah, you do that.
So we would take a Mac computer. We used to fly iMacs in. That was hard. So we would go to like MacBook Pros or MacBooks, or now we would do a Mac Mini and just have a screen, a mouse, and a keyboard. We would run an automation system on it called Megaseg. Very, very simple. You can have categories for your music, categories for your shows, and you can just build your little playlist how you want to. Easy. If anybody getting into it, there's guys that DJ with it too. It's just a great little program. And so we put Megaseg on the computer, train them how to run it, and then all we would have is maybe 2 or 3 microphones. We'd have a little board. You can plug headphones, into it, and the mics into it. That's it. We'd use the Sony MD, whatever headphones you see in all the movies with the blue stripe and the red stripe. I forget the number of them, MD 76 or something. We would use those. We would have like mic arms, and that was it. And then we would always have 2 Macs. We'd have one for the on-air, and then we'd have one for editing. So like they could edit on this one, download all their shows, put like Audacity or something on it, super simple, teach them how to use it, and then they would load it, and then it would run. From there, and And that's usually I was the computer geek, and then from there we would run an audio, come out to an audio card into the board, and then we would run an audio line to a transmitter. So we would have a transmitter that the audio goes into. There's a couple other pieces of equipment in there, but the audio would feed into the transmitter, and then from there it would come out on a coax line that fed it up the tower to an antenna. And then we'd mount the antenna on the tower. We'd try to have the tower ready to go and in place. And then we would just get there, we'd climb it, go up, mount the antenna, clamp the coax on coming down.
Well, hang on, back up a little bit. Maybe I missed something because I was taking a note.
Yep.
The antenna, is that something you just bolt to like the roof of the house, or is that something you put in the ground, or what were you doing?
We typically put it on a tower. So we're going to get like a 150-foot tower or 200-foot tower.
You got to buy that?
Yeah, well... In the States, you buy it and you have a company come install it. So in the States, there's tower contractors.
Yeah,
it's
but you're in Uganda.
We're in Uganda. You know how they did it?
Oh, tell me.
They'd find some guy that owned a welding shop, and they would tell him, I want a 3-legged tower with guy wires on it coming off, and then he would literally weld the tower together with hollow galvanized pipe.
Huh.
Not that great.
Yeah.
Now, Ugandans, they don't weigh much, so they can climb it all day long. Us boys go over there. We weigh a little more. So we had to be very, very careful.
Yeah, you're going to bend it, and I don't want to bend it when I'm up at the top.
Yep. I was at the top of I think it was 250-footer. Same thing. Different stations in Uganda, though. And the metal bar broke out from under me. I went down about 4 bars until I hit like a 90-degree piece of angle iron. And they take the angle iron and bolt them together. So when you get that, you're not going anymore.
Yeah.
But, that was not a good day. I came off the tower, threw my harness down. I said, I'm done. Went inside. I also dropped a DeWalt drill that same time. It sunk up about a foot in the ground. We normally have them tethered. The tether came loose.
Yeah.
And nobody was ever under us. But little things. But over there, OSHA's not there. But they build what they've got. And so, like, they put up a tower. A lot of times, they would climb for us sometimes too, but we would typically climb and do like mount the antenna and mount the coax down. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the what you say you mount the antenna and then you've got the cable running.
Yep.
To
so
I don't know what do you go ahead attach the cable attaches directly into the antenna.
Yep.
And so you attach the cable into the antenna and carry it up already connected, or
so you've got to mount your antenna first, and then the coax will like screw into it. Kind of like you remember the TV coax cable? Yeah. This is just a lot bigger.
Okay.
Same concept, screw in kind of a deal, and like with a center conductor.
Gotcha.
Just probably like that big, like massive, probably.
Like a 3-inch.
Yep. And so, and you can get some like 1.5 inch depending on how much wattage you're running. And then we would attach that to the tower enough, and that stuff doesn't bend very well. So you're trying to bend it carefully. You can't kink it. If you kink it, you're done. You might as well go home. It won't work. It'll break inside.
You're right.
So you had to. It comes in a roll. So Eric would go up at the tower above me, and then I would hold the roll under him, and very slowly I would roll it out,
straighten it
out down the tower. Yep. And there's a couple other things. You're adding lightning protection onto it, and you cut the you cut the rubber back, and you attach lightning protection onto the tower, stuff like that. You have to ground the tower and stuff like that. But then that comes all the way in, drip loop at the bottom, all the way into your transmitter. That screws in back the transmitter. So you've got basically analog audio coming into the transmitter, and then it takes it and converts that into an RF signal and pushes out up the tower.
Okay.
And then your car, if you're in a vehicle, that antenna sucks that whatever frequency you're on, it takes the modulation, sucks it in through your antenna. You got a piece of coax in your car from that antenna to your radio, and then that radio then takes it and puts it into your speaker system as audio. It's magical.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Now, I don't know how many people listening to this podcast understand missions work and how a missionary gets from America to whatever field they're going to and has finance to take care of their family. My older brother's a pastor in the UK, and so I understand what it's like. Like, I'll just explain the process really quick. So you would go on what's called deputation, which means you're going to reach out to every church under the sun that is aligned with your theology, typically within your denomination, and you're going to tell them, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. Can I come present what we're going to do at your church with the hopes and prayers of them financially supporting you at X amount of dollars a month? And you do that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times until you've built up enough monthly income to support your family overseas. Now, from the pastoral standpoint, and every pastor is different, but if while I was pastoring in California, you had reached out to me and said, hey, my name's Cody Stinson, I do missions work, planning radio stations so we can get out the gospel. And my initial thought, I'll just be honest, my thought is getting out the gospel is great, but I support pastors planting churches because the church is the institution. So I'm sure it was difficult for you in raising support for your family. How much of that did you have to do?
So
more than you wanted?
Yeah. My goodness, dude.
I'd probably be a little softer on that now, by the way.
Cool. Thanks. I love it. But I ran into that everywhere. But that's common thinking of churches. We were like a helps ministry, and churches only typically, and this is the case today, only really typically support church planters, they would call them.
Right.
Which makes sense. We were a little odd. And so even the guys I was with, we all struggled to get support. So we always did something else. But yeah, so my wife and I, these were the beginning days, man. We got married in 2009, moved to Virginia in 2010, left working at Crown, good jobs. I could still be there today. But I knew God wanted us to take the leap. So we walked away, no jobs. Our home church picked us up at $500 a month, which was such a blessing. My parents had an apartment for us. My dad fixed up an apartment. We lived rent-free for, a couple years there, and they were helping me buy groceries, man. It was tight, but they were there to help and support us. But we immediately started traveling to churches. And so I went to the assistant pastor's office at the church because we didn't have one. It was the empty office. And so I went in there, and I picked up the phone. I started it's not as cool as it is today. We have, it's easier to find churches, but I'd work through back then. I would just call a church. You never get them. Call a church, maybe get a secretary.
Get the gatekeeper.
Maybe mail them a packet. And it only really worked. So we did deputation probably a year and a half. We traveled to probably, I don't even know, man, maybe 30, 40 churches-ish from Virginia to Texas and back, Florida, up to Ohio.
It's a rough thing,
It's
man.
hard. Well, and it takes so much money to get to them.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this to be bad. To only get $50 a month.
Yeah.
And then here's what's even worse, okay? Then you've got whatever, 100, 200 of those. They all want you to come back every time and update. It's just, truthfully, between us, and our podcast
between us and the podcast,
it's a broken system.
I agree.
So I quit.
I just think the furloughs are, in my opinion, anymore. They're totally worthless. Whenever we have Zoom and FaceTime and Google Meet. If you want to report to pastors, just once a month, send video, hop on, do all of that. Spend your time spreading the gospel. Whenever I was pastoring, we made a commitment. And look, for you listeners, $50 a month, that's not uncommon at all. And so I made a decision when I was pastor, and we support our missionaries at $200 a month. It's not $500, but it's what we could do. And I would rather support fewer missionaries at a little bit of a bigger punch to help them get where they're going.
Yep. Absolutely. I think that's smart. So yeah, we ran that thing until I was at a church in Alabama, and with a friend of mine, I woke up one morning, I was sitting at peace. And God, in my heart, I felt like he said, you're done with deputation. I didn't know what that meant. It's just my wife and I. We literally pulled in there, didn't have two pennies to rub together. I went and talked to the pastor, and this is where the transition happened. And he says, Cody, you're building websites for all these churches. You're traveling. You're not charging them. You're putting them on another system. He says, make that part of what you do and let that support you. And I went, I can do that? He says, absolutely. So that's how we transitioned. Now, we still have supporters supporting us. We probably have 15 supporters. We run a ministry called Bible Radio Network that we run. I've got 6 online stations running from my house in different languages, different radio stations, and that's still running. So they still support that, and it's doing awesome. But yeah, that's kind of that transition. We're like, everybody can't do that, though. A lot of times missionaries go to the field. They can't. it's hard for them to juggle like a business and run that, plus be at the field and give their family the time and all that. So, I love missions, but yeah, the deputation thing, it's very, very hard.
It's tough. Yeah. So that's the birth of the web business right there. It was survival.
Yeah.
But now it's turned into something much more.
And God touched it. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Nothing I did.
Well, little as much when God was in it.
Market anything. Like, just we began to help one person after another person, and God began to make the connections.
Yeah.
And God blew it up to where it's supporting our family. It's what we do every day now. And so I get to wake up. We support now, we're a little over 400 customers around the world.
That's amazing.
And I've got 2 full-time people working for me in the Philippines. I've got a part-time person in the Philippines and a part-time person in the States. So a team of 4, 2 full-time, 2 part-time. And I've got a couple contractors to lean on as needed. But yeah, God has built a great team, and it's just connection after connection of like, you just help and serve one person really, really well.
Yeah.
And take care of them and just be honest and help them. And we've always tried to keep even our ministry pricing, especially because we help a lot of ministries, a lot of nonprofits. We do help business guys. My dad's in the HVAC business world. I love the business world. Absolutely love it. And so we kind of get to help both angles of that, and which is really fulfilling because it's like a lot of our business guys are Christian business guys too.
Yeah.
And so it's like we're helping them in their calling.
Right. So really quick, and I meant to ask this earlier. I usually always do at the beginning of the show, and it totally slipped my mind because we're kind of in my jam right here with Christianity stuff.
Yeah.
And I know you're down to help local businesses with all of their stuff. So if somebody's listening to this podcast and needs help with their website or with CRM or with whatever, or they know somebody, how can they reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. So real simple, MediaLifeline.net. So head over to MediaLifeline.net. Everything's on there. Phone number, email, everything. You can kind of see what we do. You can see the CRM system and the web system. Yep.
Okay. Do you have a social media presence?
I do. It's not huge, but we're on Facebook, on Instagram.
Yeah. What's the handle?
I think it's just at Media Lifeline, I think.
Media Lifeline?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tag it in the episode description, all that. So at what point did the quote unquote side business stop being the side business?
Yeah, I know. Let me think. It was running beside of us all the way through 2018. I would say well, the other interesting fact is we were helping we moved to Greenville to help a church with their IT and media stuff. I would probably say probably 2019.
Yeah.
By then we had a good probably couple hundred customers. And so from 2019 till now, full time, even though we were helping that church, I wasn't traveling and doing all the stuff I was doing. So I was still focused in that. So yeah, 2019, right before COVID.
Yeah.
Yep. It became the full-time gig.
Yeah. I feel like in the world that you and I come from, and it's nice to sit down with somebody who knows exactly the lingo that I'm shooting here. But I feel like in the world that we come from, we have this weird mental compartmentalization between what is ministry and then what is parachurch.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like a guy would say, me helping get the gospel out by building radio stations and helping ministries or nonprofits who are doing Christian work and building their websites is not ministry because I'm not preaching on a street corner,
right,
and I'm not, knocking on doors, inviting to people to church, and I'm not, all of those things that we would consider, I don't even know, hardcore Christian ministry. I don't really know how to phrase it. So in your heart, did you have that dividing line mentally and emotionally between like ministry and business, and you had to rethink it, or did you always see them as intertwined?
That's tough. At the beginning, it was very separate because it was like, okay, this is business, this is ministry.
Right.
Because that was the way we were all brought up. That was the lingo. That was what it was. But, then it kind of, it occurred to me, God had a blueprint for my life. He gave me talents. And I believe God gives talents to each of us. If everybody was preachers, it wouldn't be a good thing. Truthfully, if everybody was geeks, it would be even a worse thing, right? And so imagine the family Christmas dinner. It's
Well, imagine the Christmas dinner if everybody was preachers and the theological madness that would ensue.
Yeah, it's like Greek for this or that. Yeah, I never got into Hebrew, thank goodness, but I stopped at Greek. That was enough. But yeah, God gives people talents, and it's like the body of Christ. All those talents work together. And I think a lot of times from a church perspective, I don't mean this bad, but a lot of times I know in ministry, like we wasn't trained to like look at the I always call them lay people. I hate that term.
Dude, the Apostle Paul says to the Corinthians, wherefore seeing we have received this ministry.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm with you on the term lay people.
Christian business owners are the biggest secret that I believe the church is missing out on. They understand logistics, they understand team building, they understand risk, they understand everything. And I've always said, like, if Christian business owners could be given a place to put their talents into the church, more than just money, okay? If they could be given a place to put their talents in, the body of Christ could function in such a bigger way, I think.
Sure.
And I begin to see that in my life. I'm like, hey, this is what God's called me to do. These are the talents he's given me. I really suck at preaching. I tried it, okay? And that wasn't the path God wanted me to go down. And that's okay. But it helped me with people skills. And so you're gaining all that. So I'd probably say, probably really 2018-ish when we were making that transition to move here, kind of like, okay, God, what's happening? And it got even stronger after we kind of stepped away from our IT responsibilities. Like, okay, now, hey, we're a family. What has God called us to do? I got super sick with COVID and pneumonia like a couple years ago in October, man. I got to spend some time at the local hospital over here. That was awesome. The food was great, though. Honestly, I was sick as a dog, but the food was awesome. So Baptist Easily food is great.
Okay, so shout out Baptist Easily.
If you get hungry.
That's not anything I've ever heard anybody say, that the hospital food was good.
Yeah, well, I may have been really sick. It could have been that.
Maybe.
I told my wife, I'm like, can I stay one more day for the food? I mean, no joke. It was, anyway, I think I was very sick. And so through that little process, God molded a lot of stuff in my brain. And like, you know, your life doesn't flash before your eyes, but it kind of flashes before your eyes when you end up with pneumonia and stuff. You're like, when I take this tube off my nose, I can't breathe very well, you know? And so that was a moment of like, okay, God, what am I doing? I'm not the identity that I used to have in these other things. It isn't there anymore. I can't do those things. But, you know, and so that's kind of, God morphed all that into where like, hey, just let's use the tools we got to get the gospel out.
Right.
Web, communications, social, all that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
Does
let me
that answer
just
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it does. But let me just take a minute right here and say that midweek I also do a short solo reflection called Between Sundays. No guests, no outlines, just a few thoughts if you want something a little quieter than a little quieter in the middle of the week, and you can find Between Sundays on Spotify. Something you said here just a minute ago was that you believed about your web company that God was calling you to it. Now, in the world we come from, right? God calls you to pastor, God calls you to missions, God calls you to evangelism. And I have a beef about evangelism, which we can talk about off mic if we want to. Of course, my wife would say that, man, she was called to midwifery, you know. And I can even talk about callings biblically, right? I mean, there's callings in there, but then you get to Paul's writing to Timothy, and he said, if it didn't have to be called. God takes straight up volunteers. If any man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. And as long as he meets the requirements, he's good. You know, now some people argue, well, did God create the desire and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so how do you, if you believe that God called you to this web business, how does that conviction shape how you run your company?
Sure. Yeah. And calling's an interesting word because I know we grew up with that.
Yes.
That may not be the best word. Truthfully, it's more of like, here's the talents God's given me and I've got to serve him with those talents. Like, I feel like maybe that's, If it's not the calling, maybe it's, hey, this is the direction God has for me. I believe so heartily, though, that he wants me to do it, just as much as I think people feel like, hey, if somebody, anyway, the calling thing with the pastor, missionary, whatever, I think it's like, hey, this is an assignment from God. This is God's direction for my life. And so I kind of feel that same thing in our world. It's like, so absolutely, it shapes everything we do. The moment I get up, I used to stress, worry, obviously, hey, where are the clients going to come from? What about this project? What about that project? And I kind of laugh, like even in the web side of what we do, we just get to help people. So I run it probably. It still has business structure, obviously, right?
It's a business.
It's a business. It has to be. But we get to have a ministry heart behind it, and our heart tries to shine through. And so we come across every scenario. Like we're getting ready to do a thing with social media ads for a guy. I'm not a sports guy, but there's some big soccer thing coming to the U.S. sometime. I don't know, World Cup or something.
Yeah,
and
it's a minor event.
Okay. Is it pretty minor?
It's huge.
Is it huge?
Are you being serious right now?
I'm dead serious. I have no
Dude,
idea.
the World Cup is enormous.
Okay.
Like, it is the World Cup. It is the only time of my life where I will actually watch soccer.
Got it.
And I don't watch it I only watch it, of course, when the United States is playing.
Got it.
I don't watch it, but okay.
So that's how much of
that's how ignorant
sports
you
guy
are.
I am.
Okay.
So you're going to laugh, right? I used to run for our radio station in Virginia. I would have a team go out to the football field for our local football team. And the first time I'm running it, there's a thing with quarters in football.
Yeah.
I called my dad. I said, Dad, I'm tired. I said, how many quarters are in a game? He busted out laughing. He said, think about it. I went, oh, okay, I'm an idiot. Never mind. Okay, thanks, Dad. But yeah, I didn't grow up with sports because the ice stuff and all that. I grew up with NASCAR. We were near Bristol Motor Speedway. We'd go to races and stuff.
Yeah.
That got boring because the cars were just going in a circle. So I'm like,
okay, let me put it in perspective for you. The World Cup is like the Olympics.
Okay.
Because for scale.
Okay, that makes sense. So what we're doing with that, just for fun, is there's a pastor at a church down there in Arlington. Like they're spinning up like T-shirts, gospel tracks, billboards, all this stuff, and they're going to record a gospel video. We're going to take it with AI, put it in different languages, and then help set up all the backbone for them for that event. So they're going to be there trying to get the gospel out through that. So we get to do that stuff. Then we get to do all types of stuff. So
you may not. I mean, your Media Life Ministries. That's not a church. I mean, not Media Life Ministries.
Yeah.
Your Media Life doing web stuff, but you're actively helping people get the gospel out. Like you said, you put together, and this blew my mind. Probably blew yours too. Like you in helping getting the gospel out overseas or in different languages in somewhere. What is it, like 11 million views?
Yep. When the Ukraine war broke out, my pastor of the church came to me and said, Cody, what can we do to get the gospel to them? I'm like, let me think on it. I said, and so I was like, what if we ran social media ads on YouTube? YouTube has those ads before the videos, those pre-roll ads.
Right.
I said, I was like, they're all getting their news from YouTube. And I said, so we ran social media ads on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We took a gospel video. We had a lady record it in Ukrainian and a guy record it in Russian. We put those out as ads. The church and ministries in the area here in the upstate raised like $60,000 to go toward running those ads. So we poured that into the social media platforms. And the stats on that, we had 33 million people watch half the video and 11 million go to finish the video, go to the website. Wow. And those people are reaching out, hey, I trusted Christ, I have questions.
That's amazing.
So then we begin to follow up, getting them connected to missionaries and all that. But yeah.
And this, of course, I mean, ultimately, if we pan out, ultimately, that is the church doing its job.
Yep.
But if we take, the macro and we go into micro, that's because we're using technology in this like kind of parachurch way. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yep.
And you're ministering, you're getting the gospel out to, like you said, 33 million people watched half of it, 11 million people watched the whole thing and then went to the website.
Yep.
That's absolutely bananas.
It's crazy. And kind of what was crazy with that it's just nuts. One story was they used the subway system as the bunker there. And I think they still do, but there was 4 guys in the corner of the subway system, and one of the church members over there called the missionary and said, "Hey, there's 4 guys in the corner over here. They found that video. Can you come talk to them?" So the missionary made his way down to the subway. They had watched it and they had questions. He led all 4 to the Lord right there. So it's just crazy cool what God did, which takes me to the next step. What's on my heart right now? I didn't have a database to follow up with them. I don't have a database of those people. Sure, we have names, missionaries have contacts, but it breaks my heart. I wish I can go to a system and put my hands on it and say, hey, let's send these people encouraging things, right? Let's send them devotionals. Let's send them resources. I can't. And so that's where Lifeline Pro was born, of the CRM and the software system. Was I've got to have a way to follow up with people.
Right.
And so we found this software framework. And so that's what we're going to use on this next campaign, to where everybody coming in, they're tagged, the church people can follow up with them.
This is the virtual arm of discipleship.
Exactly. Yep.
Because people don't understand, like, we want to get you to Christ.
Yep.
That is the main thing, but that's only step 1.
Yep.
After that is, all right, let's get you learning how to follow Christ. Let's find the church to get you plugged into, so you have a community of like-minded believers, and you begin to grow spiritually, and you begin to exercise the spiritual gifts that the Holy Spirit gave you to edify the body of Christ. I mean, now, leaving the what does it say in Hebrews? Talking about, like, leaving the, what did he say? Let us go on unto perfection.
Yeah.
He's leaving the first principles of the doctrines of Christ or something like that. Let us go on unto perfection. That's the first step. There's much more to do.
Yep.
So, but you have to have a way to.
You have to. And to my knowledge, people, they're not really, there's no follow-up. It's, I hate to say it, lick 'em, stick 'em, and then there's no follow-up afterwards, and it breaks my heart. And so that's like anything we do now. It's like, okay, there has to be a follow-up tool. And that everything's won and lost in the follow-up, right? Whether it's in business or ministry or whatever, we know that. But yeah, if they could have those resources to grow as a Christian, because that's the most volatile stage of, like, something else can come in and confuse them, or whatnot.
Yeah. No, that's super important. So I know you can talk a lot about systems, and I guess this is the time for it, since we're kind of getting into the CRM and the follow-up. But why are, we've partly illustrated it, but why are systems so critical?
From a ministry perspective, or business, or both?
Well, I mean, they're not, whether it's business or ministry, they're not really different.
The same thing. You're still dealing with people. So, like, I've said this, I was like, we're all called to serve people, whether we're all called to serve people and to reach people, having the right system will guarantee people don't fall between the cracks. People don't feel forgotten. You're organized enough, you can have people with obviously tags on them, notes on them, everything in one spot. We live in such a crazy world today. I just took all my systems and I have them in my CRM, but I used to have stuff on my phone, stuff in text messages, stuff in notes, stuff over here, over there. Nothing in life, you can't scale and serve more people without having a system behind you. But the system's got to be simple. It's got to work along with you. And most people, and I've seen this in ministries and businesses, they crash when at some point they're going to hit a plateau of, like, I can't do anymore, because everything's in here. So getting it out of your noggin, getting it into a system is the secret. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And my system's pretty simple when it comes to my podcast. I use an app called Bear. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's a note-taking app.
Okay.
And I build the show notes, I plug it into Bear, and then, at the end of this episode, after I build the show description, I'll go and I'll add all the hashtags. And so I can just search a hashtag.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I'll find every episode with that hashtag, and I can filter in. And then I've built kind of a little spreadsheet for who my Who are all the guests that I have invites out to?
Okay.
How's the first? How did I contact them first? Do I know them personally? So it was a text message? Was it an email? Was it a direct message on social media? What that date was? Have they been bumped if they haven't responded? What's the follow-up look like?
Yep.
That's a small system. And it's not hard to create one, but obviously, like, for a guy like me, if this, if it grows, or even with the cigar box, you can use something simple like a spreadsheet or Bear for a while, but eventually you might plateau to where you need something more professional.
Yep. Putting everything into one. So a lot of simple tools. You can use Google Sheets. I loved your Google form. So prior to this show, you sent me this awesome Google form. I'm like, dude, this guy's got it together. I've been on podcasts before. I'm like, this is the first time I filled out a form. This is cool. I loved it, but it got me to think, and gave you background, and it was perfect. I'm like, wow, this, you've got a system, and everything runs smooth with systems. I took my vehicle to Toyota the other day. Everything was a system from the moment I pulled in,
right?
Chook, automated text back and forth, to where it ran like a well-oiled machine. And so if we apply that to what we're doing, I always look at what I'm doing. I'm like, ooh. If I catch myself doing the same thing multiple times, I'm like, can I automate that? With care. But can I make that something automated so I don't have to do it again? So if you have the right system, see if it's got automation in it to where, like, hey, there's things I'm doing constantly, to where, like, just brainstorm even on your show here. We could have like an automated text that shoots out afterwards. Hey, contact first name. Thanks so much for hopping on with me. My show day is awesome. Blah, 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 blah. Boom.
Yeah.
We do this for churches. So if they fill out a visitor's card, like, hey, 2 hours later, it'll shoot them a text. Hey, thanks so much for coming to church today, blah, 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 blah. It's a touch point with them. So the pastor can be eating Mexican, queso and salsa like every good pastor does after Sunday service. And, it's awesome. And then, but it can auto follow up.
Yeah.
So I would say just simple systems. You don't need crazy, but having a system behind you, just we dump that brain into it.
Yeah, I have a flow that I use for this very thing, and it's here. So you'll get an original invite, whether it's email, or DM. You'll get the initial invitation, and then I have a little bump in case I don't hear back from you. So a couple days, I'm like, hey, so-and-so, no rush at all. Just wanted to bump this in case it got buried. We all know who text messages and emails. They just get buried.
Yep.
I wanted to put a few options out there in case it's helpful. If another time's better, just say the word. And that's a text when I have one for email. Then I have an email for after they agree to come on the show. And then I send them the guest preview form. Now, I didn't do all this with you just because you're my neighbor, 5 houses down, and I've got your cell, and it was just, but this is mostly for people that I'm not very well acquainted with, and then I send them that guest preview form.
Okay.
And that's like, because of the show that I'm running and the people that I'm interviewing, I realized, early on in the show, I interviewed obviously people I knew. So I knew what to talk about. I knew what they did. I knew what questions to ask. But when I start reaching out to people, I don't know who they are, and I don't really know much about what they do.
Yeah.
I needed information.
Yep.
So I created this guest preview form. And then because this podcast was, I won't say last minute. I mean, I just didn't have really enough time to build the show notes and get them to you.
Yep.
So I usually send the whole outline to my guest ahead of time.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
So they'll have an idea of what we're going to talk about. I don't like my guests going in blind, So, and I'm like, look, we may hit all this, we may not. This is more of a conversation guide. Think of it more of like it's a menu rather than a dictated.
Yeah.
They'll get a day before email reminder. They're going to get a post-recording email. They're going to give another email with the show link once it goes live.
That's cool.
So I'm very intentional. It's all those touch points.
Yep.
Trying to build a local podcast, and I mean that's the system.
Yep.
Making sure things don't fall through the cracks. They accept the calendar invite, so they'll get the day before email reminder, but they'll also get a day before and a 2 hour before calendar reminder.
Yep.
Because I've had guests that I've booked and they just didn't show up.
Oh yeah.
So, and it, I didn't get mad about it. Life happens and people are busy.
Yep.
So, but that's the whole point of not letting people fall through the cracks, right?
Yep, exactly.
For your business.
Yeah.
So in you helping all of these clients around the world, what's the biggest communication breakdown you think you see? So you didn't get the show notes ahead of time, so I'm putting you on the spot.
I love it. I'm good. We're good. Yeah. You know, I think it's in the follow-up is really where I see it. I was talking to an accounting company a minute ago, and she's like, everything we do, it's all about the follow-up, and most businesses are remote. Most ministries are remote. People see their pastors on the weekends, maybe Wednesday night for Bible study, but through the week can be a lonely place. And especially if you're a business, the people that you're serving, they're going to only come to you, obviously, when the barn's on fire, when their tooth hurts or their AC's broken or they got a plumbing leak or whatever the case may be. Being able to stay front of mind is so important. Not over marketing, because I think that's also a bad thing. But I think being genuine, being real, that the ongoing care, the ongoing communication, I think is huge. I would say even outside of social media. I think the magic sauce is in simple texting. Honestly, some simple emails, simple texting, stay in front of mind, continuing to give people value. It's easy to give people value at an ongoing basis when you got them in a system. So you can be like, something we're doing tomorrow at like 11 in the morning, all of my customers on the software. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something called office hours. Open up a Zoom room. Y'all come in, we'll have some fun training, hang out. They get to hang out with the team. I'm there. And then I'll start taking questions from the floor. And I've wanted to do this for 3 months, but I'm like, I need to do it. Just kind of stay in front of them. And so I went to my system the other day. I texted everybody, emailed everybody, say, hey, if you're available Wednesday 11, we're doing office hours. Swing on in, come by and say, hey, if you don't need something, So the ongoing care, I would say ongoing care, those little touch points. I think that's what I'm seeing is missing. It's just not there. I don't mean this badly, most ministries and most businesses, because we were in both worlds, they're only responding to fires.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like a fireman, boom, okay, my dad's in the fire department. I grew up hanging out with him and pop in the truck. Back in the day, I could ride in the front, run the sirens, pull the air horn. I can't do that anymore. But back in the day as a kid, it was fun. But I remember the fire truck pulling out, you run to the wreck, whatever it is, Everybody's reactionary. They're not proactive. If they're if they can shift to that and be proactive, that's what I love about Pastor David at the church. He texted Laura and I yesterday, hey, here's a verse, encourage you, praying for you. He's super good about that. Just occasional little drop-in things. And we can do the same thing in the business world as well.
You should do the same thing in the business world.
Yep.
And like you said earlier, you don't have to drown your clients.
Yeah.
You should not drown your clients. That's bad for business.
Yep.
But just, maybe even like one text and one email a month.
Yep.
Just kind of lightly touching, hey, I'm here. This is what we're doing.
Yep.
If you got an issue, let me know. Whatever, whatever your business happens to be.
Yep.
Transitioning to the visual part of it, what are you finding that a lot of small business owners are getting wrong on their websites?
On their websites and also their vans.
Okay.
I hate it when I see vans with 4 phone numbers on them. Pet peeve of mine, sorry. Same thing with websites. They make contacting them confusing. And you've seen it too. You may have a plumbing van running down the road and you got 2 phone numbers on the back. I'm like, I've never understood that, ever. I'm like, that's where I know it's probably 1 office number, 1 cell number. I get it. But being very clear in how do I get a hold of you? And then what do you specialize in? What makes you different than the other guy? And this is getting worse with AI written content because it's all the same and it's terrible. There's no personalization to it. So you see this on social and you see it on web too. And so what eventually is going to happen, everybody is going to sniff through AI content in 3 seconds, and there's going to be some random guy posting a post. It's going to be like my form was to you. I dictated to my phone, and it's going to be super real, super authentic, and it's going to be like that spotlight floods over to him, and he gets the attention. So I think that's where we're going. I would say just they don't make contacting them easy. Their contact forms never work. So you fill out a form, nothing. Even if they get it, it ends up in their spam box. They never see it. So they don't have any kind of a way to track what's coming in. They always want to go and run ads thinking that's the shiny, there's a thing called shiny object syndrome, that like, that's the shiny object, I'm going to go do that. But then they don't fix the core problem first. So,
well, we're such a visual society, and you can have great visuals, but if your work on the back end to actually capture,
they're missing out on video is huge. So like, I love when you go to a website. I was talking to a group this morning about this. I was like, hey, they're having a big event. They're going to probably have, I don't know, a couple thousand people come to that event. And I said, hey, why don't you record a video of your venue? Hey, welcome in. This is where you park. Here's the door you come in. Just the very, very simple things. Or a video welcoming them, making it warm and welcome. Or, hey, I'm Bob, and we're here in the upstate, and we're awesome at plumbing. Whatever the case may be, let them see a face with video. People don't retext anymore. Have a video up high on your website explaining what you do in about 2 to 3 minutes is huge, and then just making it super easy to contact you.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Are you, what you do when you talk about businesses and the website Media Lifeline,
mm-hmm.
Are you, it sounds like your expertise is much more functional, because there's the aesthetic, there's the design standpoint, and then there's all of the back end on making sure that, the website's connected to the proper email and in the CRM and all of that. So are you focused on one or the other, or do you do the whole shebang?
So we do the whole thing. What's interesting, though, a lot of web guys don't. You got like front-end designers. We call them front-end developers. You got front-end guys that make it pretty. Well, then a back-end guy has to take it. And so you have to hire him to make all the pieces work and host it and all that. So we're a full custom shop. I always tell people we're like a skateboard shop. You come in, we'll outfit you what you need. And I'm careful, and we take on projects. I don't take on every project, but I make sure, hey, are we a good fit for you? Is this going to work? To meet like what they need. But so we start at ground zero. A lot of times people don't have a website. If they do, we'll take it, rebuild it. And so we build on our framework. So I've got design guys. I map it out, say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take all the content from here and here, bring it together. We have the clients go through a little worksheet, answer some questions for us, just like your form, upload new photos to us, things like that. Hey, you got a new logo, send that to us. I always ask them, give us 3 sites you like the looks of. We design totally custom. I don't do templates. Cause
I was going to ask if you find yourself putting out fires from Squarespace and Wix and
all the time,
all that.
Yep. So I have a rule. I don't ever work on a website that we don't build, and then I don't ever build a website that we don't host. So when we build a site, we have people that I've got a couple right now. They have one's a Wix site. I think one's maybe a Weebly or something. And a lot of times people will jump in and do a quick builder, but they end up needing more at the end of the day. And so we can take all their stuff, but then we'll custom build it.
Yeah.
And then kind of what's cool afterwards, what makes us totally different, I don't see many guys doing this. We provide web care. So like after the site's built, they don't have to worry about hosting, domain, SSL, any of that other stuff, DNS. Nah, we take care of all the security, backups, everything. We build the site, they approve it, and then we have different plans. Our base plan comes with an hour, month of support. Whatever they need, they send it in to us.
Yeah.
So instead of them crawling into the site and accidentally messing up something, that frustrates them, and it frustrates us because we got to go fix it. I did that to start, and people they were frustrated, and I called that. I'm like, what if we just did it all? And so I was sitting at Starbucks and Easily over here, and I came up with the web care idea. I said, that's it. Just send us everything you want updated. Why are you sitting
at Starbucks, man? You need to go to a local coffee shop.
I do need to do that. And the funny thing is,
iPhone user.
I don't drink coffee. That's the other thing. Like,
well, then why are you at Starbucks?
I'll get like one of their other drinks. Like a dragon drink's my favorite. It's a pink drink. Don't judge me. It's a pink drink, total guy's drink, right? And so I'm known as like the dragon drink guy. So I'll go in and get that all set and work there. Yeah, I need to see what other places have.
You go
That's
to
just been my habit.
Old Post. I mean, you don't have to get. I mean, you'll get coffee of some sort. Whether you could get like a cappuccino or frappuccino, not a frappuccino, but you get a cappuccino. You could get a. Well, there's all things
They got
you could
teas
get,
and
but
odds and ends. Yeah, teas and odds and ends. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to Old Post Coffee here in Easley. There's Anthem Coffee here in Easley. There's a coffee place over in this new thing that opened up last year. I think it was Southern Weaving.
Oh yeah.
There's a coffee shop over there.
Yep.
What other coffee places are there here in Easley that I'm thinking of? There's Southern Fuel, but that's outdoors. You probably don't want that. That's outdoor at what's the
Silos?
thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Silos.
I'm seeing your hand. I'm thinking like, Silos.
You're
Got
right,
it.
Yeah. So like, I'm gonna have interesting after we wrap the show. I'm gonna, and I get it from a business standpoint, especially when you're getting started and money's tight. You know, Squarespace makes it easy. Wix makes it easy, and so I built my website. I built my website using Squarespace, and it sucked for a long time, but I went through probably less than a week ago and gave it a makeover. And now I think it looks really good, but I'm gonna get you a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, mobileCigarBox.com. If you want to check it out. Yeah, you can go learn what you need to learn about the business. You can fill out the booking inquiry form. So if you're getting a spring wedding coming up, you're throwing a corporate party, whatever the event is, you can check it out, fill out the booking inquiry form, tell me a little bit about what you've got going on, and I would love to come provide some cigar hospitality for your soiree.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
You ever thought about selling cigars online?
That's a whole nother different licensing.
Oh, okay, got it.
Because, tobacco's a controlled substance.
Got it, okay.
So that's not something I want to get into.
Got it.
Yeah.
And complicated shipping, all the rest of the stuff, which is
I'm not supposed to ship across state lines.
Gotcha.
I'm not even really sure, to be honest with you, if I'm supposed to ship within state. So I just don't do it. I just sell from my house.
Yep.
And if people want to swing by and grab a few sticks or whatever.
Cool.
So with all the technology, and we talked about this maybe a little bit, but for all of these people doing business owners or even churches, like, how do you keep technology simple? Because if you look at it, it looks big and scary.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And that's why, even in the business or ministry world, either one, I could tell you story after story after story. People are afraid. They're afraid because it's complicated. They think it's complicated, but it's not. So it kind of comes back down to the same system thing. So I'll use my dad as an example. He owns a heating and cooling company in Virginia. I just brought him over to Lifeline Pro. He used to fill out all of his invoices with like the tricarbon, things, tear off one to the customer, and
I'm sure he gets the father-son discount.
Oh, he does. It's free. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, if he's living in this apartment for free.
Absolutely.
And, all that. Just being a dad. Absolutely.
Yeah, like dad. And my dad is so awesome. My mom the other day, she said, we're going to pay you for this. I said, no, you're not. You fed me for all those years and took care of me. I was like, no, I got you.
Absolutely.
So, but he's loving. He's like, this is the best thing I've ever done. And what we did is he had like a kind of a weird like dispatching system, but he at least had his customer emails in there. I said, okay, let me export those. So we brought those into his Lifeline account, moved his phone system into Lifeline. So his phone number is running through it. He's got an app on his phone. His office manager does. So your phone calls come in, all of his contacts are there. And then now he's doing all of his invoicing through it. He can text an invoice to the customer to pay. Then it shows paid in their account. My mom and him, they used to do statements. I remember them, they'd sit down, do statements. It'd take them 2 days. He's not done statements for 6 months. He said, Cody, this is amazing. People pay their bills. I said, yeah, you push a button and it texts it to them, a link to pay, and it hooks to Stripe and we help with all that. The money goes in their account. And here's what's crazy cool. Having your data in one spot, your contacts you're called to serve, notes about them, tags on them. You can, like, he's got equipment, serial, everything else in there for each person. It's pretty cool. But when this last ice storm come, a few weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, whatever, He not only installs HVAC stuff, but he puts in generators, like the whole home Generac generators, and he's licensed, does all that stuff. And he said, Cody, can you send me out a text to my customers and an email? I'm going to make an emergency order for generators because if I don't get them in now, it'll be 3 months before I can get them. I said, yeah, absolutely. So we shot out a quick text and a quick email to all of his customers, and I think he sold maybe 6 or 7. Just from a simple text blast, and he had to go quote them and look at their stuff and all that. But those generators are, I don't know, $15,000-$20,000. They're the big boys.
Yeah, like Generac.
Yeah, the big ones. Yeah, and so it made it easy. I've done the same thing with air duct cleaning. Like he has a machine that does that. We blasted a little text out, and so and I think he had like 14 customers sign up for that, and he charged $1,000 per job to do it. So that's $14,000. He called me and said, "Son, how in the world? How did you do that?" I was like, Dad, it's just a system. It took me, I used ChatGPT to write the text and everything, so it probably took me 2-3 minutes.
Right.
But the secret is having a system. So make sure you got your contacts in one. Like with Lifeline, we can even run your social media. So we have a social planner. So you can like connect Facebook, Instagram, TikToks, all the other ones. And then you can say, ooh, I want to post this across everything tomorrow at 9 a.m. It'll do it for you. So imagine all your stuff coming to one, Facebook direct messages, Instagram DMs come right into a single conversations box.
Nice.
It is beautiful, dude. Having the right system and a simple system behind you to handle social, texting back and forth, drag and drop email builder, no problem. You can do e-commerce store, put courses up, membership area up. It really has all the tools at one spot. You can do like review links, like after your job is done or whatever, you can blast out, hey, leave me a review on Google or whatnot. And then we use it also in the ministry world, same thing. Like, so churches have lists like, hey, here's my deacons, here's my nursery workers, here's my members. And like, hey, let's pray for Sister Susie. She fell and broke her hip or whatnot, I'm finding more and more people just don't have a system. Stuff is everywhere. You're
just streamlining everything for people, making your life easier.
Yep. And it's not that hard. It's just like everything's in one spot. So you got one app on your phone and one thing to log into on your computer.
Yeah. So that's all really great. And that is using technology, automation to serve people. But how do we keep it from becoming impersonal?
Yeah. That is the danger zone of this. If there's a danger zone, a lot of people will use this and become non-personal. So I think it's all about how you do it. So like every time I'm really religious on this, and I've taught my team on this. Every time I send an email or a text, I'm going to say something super kind. Hey, I super appreciate you. Or, I'm grateful for your friendship. I'll start something like, hey, my friend, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Little things like that. Building those things of friendship. I use the word buddy a lot. It's not a great word, apparently. I've had people say, would you not call me buddy? I'm like, okay, fine. I like Buddy the Elf, but okay, fine. But, so I'll be like, the way you open a conversation and close a conversation, that's what people remember.
Yeah.
And I think even don't over-automate, because you can, but be very strategic. Like you said, don't drown people. And so I think just being very strategic, very careful. I'll give you a little trick. I do this a lot. So there's a little software called Loom, Loom. Instead of Zoom with the Z, it's L, like Lima, lemonade. So loom.com. It's a little tool you can put on your Mac or PC or your phone, and you can record a little video. And you hit record, and you can send somebody a personal message. And so I do that all the time. I got a kidney stone back maybe 3 years ago.
Savage.
Oh, man. I'm dying, dude.
I've had one.
I'm sorry. Side note, there's a product called Stone Pass. They just renamed it. It's a supplement on Amazon. It's awesome. It helps. Anyway, check it out, Stone Pass. It's great stuff.
Hey, Stone Pass, if you're listening,
talk to you.
Why don't you we'll partner with Sunday Afternoon Smokes.
Yeah, talk to your doctor first, please. All those type things. But
True.
Anyway, so I found this supplement. It's great stuff. But where was I going with that?
We're talking about Loom.
Yeah, Loom. Okay, I bought, dude, from this guy's website. Within 6 hours, I got a personal video from him. I mean, I bought a $40 supplement. Hey, Cody, hope you're doing all right. Hey, just want to check in. Your shipment's on the way to you. Let me know how you're doing. Just email me back with questions. I'll help you. Dude, I'm in pain. I went to Green Baptist Easley, 2 times. I was dying. Anyway, he helped me. He helped me walk me through it. Here's what to expect, blah, 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 blah. It did dissolve my stone, and I didn't have to have surgery, which is great. But anyway, I learned something. He used Loom. I'm like, I'm going to check that out. So now you can use loom.com, record a simple video, and as soon as you're done, it gives you a little link. Copy, paste it, text it to somebody. So like I do that, like just periodic check-ins with people. If I hadn't heard from them in a while, I'll just shoot them a quick video. They see my face, they hear me checking in with them, or I'll give project updates the same way.
Yeah. And that's not something AI can fake.
Nope. No.
So that's straight up human contact.
And I can go through in Loom. If I've got like 14 videos I need to do, I'll be done in, 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Pop, 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 pop. And then I just leave all the tabs open and I'll just go grab the links and start texting them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I take it back. It's not something AI would fake. I mean, it can. We've seen the videos, but in this particular usage, they get it. They know it's not AI generated. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I think them seeing you in your same environment helps. So like, hey, they see you in your office or see where you're at or whatever. That helps too.
Yeah. So when it comes to businesses using AI in the AI world that we are now engrossed in, I mean, do you view it as a tool, as a threat, as both?
So it could be both. Here's, I think, what it's got to be. AI is a tool you can use. You don't want it to replace you. Everybody's fear is like, hey, it's going to replace me. I don't think so. I think what it will do, if you're smart enough to use AI as a tool, like you get a new Milwaukee drill and you really know how to use the thing, if you're in copywriting or social media marketer or whatever you are, small business owner, wherever you're at, use AI as a tool to help you. Don't let it replace you and take that personal element away, but it can help you with simple wording, simple things, strategies that help speed you up for sure. It is amazing. You can throw complex spreadsheet things to it and all types of stuff. It is absolutely awesome at problem solving. It's not always accurate, which that is the danger side. It learns over time. So that's always interesting, the data set that it's getting from. But I think from the business perspective, we've had great luck with using it. Like say a business is overwhelmed with phone calls. Our software has a voice AI receptionist that'll grab the call immediately. I always say, hey, if you call my number, it'll say, hey, this is Sam, the AI assistant here at Media Lifeline. I always recommend businesses let people know it's AI so they're not guessing. Say, it can take a message, it can figure out what's going on, get their name, phone, email. They have a little conversation. People like that. And then obviously people are using it like with building simple emails, helping with wording, helping with social posts.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. So you just gave out a little tool with AI. Like you said, because there's a bunch of platforms that offer AI assistance now. And then that little tidbit you gave out with Loom is great. But are there other places that you see small businesses right now missing opportunities?
With AI?
Well, just in general, or with AI.
Yeah, I would say. So, one little trick I've learned. I spend an hour a day working on my business. Not doing business thingies. I set aside an hour each morning before it gets crazy. Phones and do not disturb, and I work on the business. And when I do that, it really focuses me in. And I think a lot of business guys, hey, we're just running wide open, putting out fires all day long. If we spend an hour a day working on the business, go dive into AI tools, look at your social media. How can I improve that? How can I make it better? Keep it personal though. So I think most guys, they're missing the mark. I would say it's in simplicity. They tend to look at what the other guy's doing a lot of times, and it's copycat. I've found, and I've seen this, if you stop and look at what makes you unique and special, run with it. Work with your immediate contacts always, and then branch out from there. So work with the guys that know you and push that word of mouth. So probably really I would think working those contacts would be huge. People don't do that. They don't work the people around them. They're afraid to. Work your friends carefully. You have to be careful with that, I know, but let them help get you out there. Google reviews are a big one, I would say. Just thinking of little technology things. People don't lean into Google and Facebook reviews at all. We make all of our buying decisions on Amazon based off reviews, literally. And so the same thing happens. So make sure if you're in the business world, have a Google My Business profile. It's free. Go Google My Business, set up a Google My Business profile. Google is weighing that so heavy today. That's more important than your website. You don't have to have you need a website, yes. But if you can't afford one, at least do a Google My Business page. It's free. You can go set it up, put your phone number on there. You can put links to your different profiles and stuff.
Well, you can even start a Facebook business page for nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Link it to that. You can link website over to that. Yep. And then just boost the reviews. And I hear it over and over and over. And so Google rewards you the more reviews you have, and so does Facebook. So that would be a big strategic advantage of don't be afraid to ask for reviews from people. Google gives you a link in there that you can send to your people for them to leave your review. So that is one of the biggest things I think businesses don't do. Just in thinking of your question, they're not getting reviews. The latest thing is video testimonials, if people would do it. Having people to shoot a quick video testimonial and fire back to you. That is like gold.
Yeah. I mean, there's simple things that I do that I ask, and they're in the emails that I send to the people that come as a guest on my show. And this is not one of them, but I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I listen to every single one of my own podcasts. I listen for two reasons. Number one, I listen straight up to help the algorithm.
Yep.
More listeners. So because I have a Mac, my Mac ID is not the same as my Android Google, right?
Yep.
So I follow my podcasts on both, so it gives me a couple more followers, right? But I listen.
Is that why you got a room with 20 laptops in it?
Yeah, something like that. I listen to my podcast just to help the listenership. Because we know how algorithms work. The more of it that's there, the more it builds. But I also do listen. I try and listen critically and think about, all right, what could I have done better here? Was this a good conversation? Did I say something really stupid? How can I improve as a host? So I try and listen to myself in that way. But the other thing that I do is in the email to my guests, I ask them simply, if they don't mind, small ask, nothing big, rate the show. You can just go, if you use the Spotify app, all you got to do is go and hit the star rating. Takes literally 5 seconds. And from my perspective, why wouldn't they do that? Because this is your episode.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you rate the show?
Yeah.
But also the biggest thing that helps the show is for people just simply to follow it.
Yeah.
So that every time a new episode drops, it shows up in your feed. And, if you want to do that, I appreciate it. You don't have to do that. But the point is that I'm not afraid to ask for it.
Yeah. Yep.
Just ask for what you want.
Yeah. There's a Bible verse about that, I think.
You have not because you ask not.
Yep. Which is so true. Yeah, absolutely. And in your heart of hearts, you're serving people through your podcast.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you're doing it. I mean, you're helping businesses, you're helping people, you got an audience, and using your talents to do that is absolutely awesome. And I think that's it, dude. You hit it. You asked me the question, you answered it. Business owners they're afraid to ask for reviews. They're afraid to ask opinions. They're afraid to ask how can I help you? Sometimes it's awkward to ask that, but I had to make a mental shift on this in my head.
You can't make them anywhere else.
It's true. I like it. This guy's on it. He is on it. I love it. Whenever I'm talking to somebody, I shift my head. It's not about me. It's not about me quoting their project. It's not about me making money on their project. It's about me serving them and helping them. And that, I put my brain in that spot every single time. Okay, how can I serve you? How can I help you? How can I, be a blessing to you to help you reach the people you're called to serve, And I think as a business owner, shifting to that You know, it's interesting. I ran across something the other day. Somebody said, hey, if God, has led you to start a business and that's the direction you're on, he's going to provide the clients you need. Does that make sense?
Right.
He's going to make the connections. So I did something kind of interesting. I was pushing personal marketing so hard end of last year. Nothing was happening, dude. I took my foot off the gas and I said, God, I'm going to give it to you. And I said, not like a super spiritual moment, but I said, God, I'm just going to give it to you. I want to trust you with it. Bring in the people I need to help. In 2 weeks, we had 11 people get on our software system. That's never happened, ever.
Yeah.
And so I think that is something, as Christian business owners, like we can lean into. Lean into God, lean into trusting him, lean into faith, lean into patience on that, and then let him run the thing. And you get up every day and serve and help the people that he puts in your life. He'll take care of the rest.
We try to force it. We try to manufacture business. And listen, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're not saying don't work.
No.
There's I don't remember the old preacher who said it, or I don't remember where I read it or heard it, but somebody said, you know how Jesus said that God feeds the fowls of the air, right?
Yeah.
And he does. But they said God feeds the fowls of the air, but he doesn't throw the seed into their nest.
Yeah.
They have to go get it. We're not saying don't work,
Yep.
but it's just like you just have that mental attitude or that emotion where you're just working so hard and you're trying to force it instead of saying just that spiritual balance where it's like, okay, God, I'm going to do the work, but I'm going to relax and I'm going to let the results. Dude, you have.
I'm going to trust you.
You have just really helped me with some of the things I've been thinking about when it comes to the cigar box and things I'm trying to make happen and accomplish. And it's like, I need to change my attitude. I think they're good ideas. And, I've got plans to send out some marketing information to high-end wedding planners out in Charleston, Mount Pleasant, Kiowa, Hilton Head. And yeah, that's the work. I need to do those things, but I don't need to stress about them. I'm like, okay, Lord, here's the plan. This is what I'm going to do. Here they go. And I'm not going to freak out about it if I don't hear anything back.
Yep. And I've had those things. It's like you put that great quote out there, you don't hear back. There's a reason. God doesn't want you maybe to serve that particular situation or that scenario. Well, I can't say what it is, but we were going to have the ability to help build a website for a potential nonprofit group that ended up running like a Super Bowl ad, so on and so forth. Didn't go through. I'm like, man, that would have been cool. I love their passion. I love what they're doing. They're great people doing a great thing. It is what it meant to be. God didn't want it to happen. And I was like, okay, God, cool. But I wasn't always that way, dude. I'm probably the most nervous, most stressed guy you will ever meet. Ask my wife. But I've had this phrase of recently, I'm like, hey, God, I'm just going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you. And I step back and say, this morning I was looking at finances, looking at stuff, saying, And I said, no. God, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to go work. And I'm going to help the people that need my help right now. And he's never not taken care of us. He's always done that. My business is God's business, dude. I don't mean that in some weird spiritual statement. It's his.
Yeah.
I'm just.
It's all the passages.
I don't want to make. I'm not going to go lay back and be lazy. I'm going to work as hard as I can because I don't want to make him work hard, if that makes sense. Like, I'm going to be as responsible as I can be and do everything I can. But that end result, trust in him.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. No business coach or marketing company would ever tell you that. Not in a million years. And I think every business, like, your business, the people you're serving, and that's so cool. I like it. If you go to Hilton Head, if you need a buddy, I'll ride with you and help you.
Absolutely. Well, it just comes down to, while you're talking about that, I'm thinking where, Moses comes to the burning bush and the Lord says to him, what's in thine hand?
Yep.
A rod.
Yep.
All right. it's a moment of surrender. You can have and utilize whatever is in my hand because you can do much more with it than I ever could.
Yep. Yep.
Here's 5,000 men plus women and children. What do we got here? Here's a little boy with 5 loaves and 2 fishes.
Yep.
That's not near enough for 5,000 men plus women and children unless you give it to the right person.
Yep. Yep.
And so it's a matter of surrender. And our problem is it's a human problem. It's especially an American problem.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like the term surrender.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you got if you'll trust him.
Yeah.
And by the way, I am not promoting the idea that if you trust God, your business is going to be tenfold by this time next year. That's not what I'm saying. But what God will do wonderful things, but they might not look exactly the way you expect them to.
Yeah.
How about that?
I like it. Boom. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So you, like you said, you currently serve about 400 clients globally.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are ministries.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are nonprofits. But I get the sense that you, not at the neglect of those, but you would like to start branching out towards small business owners.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Like, a dream without a plan is a wish, as we've heard many times.
Yeah.
So how are you trying to attack that?
You know, I love the business world, and I especially love Christian business owners. I love the passion, the camaraderie we have together, because we've got a mission, I think, that's bigger than our businesses, That's just what I love. And we help a bunch of churches and ministries and missionaries around the world and, do a lot of cool stuff. What I like in the business world is you kind of, they're not afraid to forward think and be visionary. And there's a lot of guys that are really, really, even if they're a small operation, they're struggling. And I think it just comes from my own life of like, okay, run a business, juggling a family, trying to be a dad, be a husband, be there for my German Shepherd, which is a total full-time job at the moment. Eventually that'll settle, I think. If not, I'll bring him up here and you can hang out in your backyard and he will be your buddy. But I see such a need for small business owners to live maybe a balanced life to where because we've all been there, running wide open. You're not there when your family needs you. You can't turn it off, and that's hard to do as a business owner anyway. And so my dream, man, I'm like, I've got the system. I've seen what it's done to help me in my life. I've seen what it's done to help others. And I'm like, every small business guy needs this. And we got big business people too. We got a lot of customers down toward Gatlinburg area, that area, different condo rental companies and all that, they're using our systems. But I got the special really kind of burden for just a small business guy that's trying to make it happen,
Guys like me.
Yeah, guys like you and me, dude, working from home, trying to make it happen. And
do you look at yourself as a small business owner with over 400 clients?
I do. Yeah. I do. Yeah. And I've done the go rent the big office in downtown Greenville. I've done that. I was paying a lot of money for a big old office, dude, right before COVID.
It's not getting you anything, though.
Oh, no. Before COVID, I had I don't remember, $1,800 a month office, had a green screen video studio, had a podcast studio in there, had the Rode Podcaster board, had a little booth. You can go in there. It's all soundproof. It was really hot, though. It was all blankets around you. Don't do that. Ugh. Anyway, I got rid of that, and I just had people would come, and they'd pay to rent the spot. We produced their show for them. But then I had 2 team members locally there with me before COVID. And man, we were set up to nail it. And then COVID happened. I'm like, but it didn't get me anything. The only reason it gave us a place to work. Now we're a total, I guess you call it a remote company. I've got an awesome office at the house, 3 team members in the Philippines, another guy here, and I've got a guy in New Zealand, I've got another guy in North Carolina. So, I found with the tools that are there, you can still stay connected, and all that's pretty easy. I would say so. I mean, I definitely see that. We're not huge.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
But no, yeah, we're not big. Maybe I just in my brain, I guess I don't want to like grow and be massive. A lot of guys like, hey, do you want to go be this big? Not really. I mean, I want to serve the people really well that we help, and just, keep it simple.
Yeah, I kind of redirected the conversation jumping in there.
Yep.
But we were originally asking about like how are you branching out to local small business?
Yep.
And adding that into what you do.
Yeah. So really from a software perspective, every business needs better systems. They need better software to help them. And so I like to come alongside local businesses and say, hey, okay, what you got going on? Let's kind of do audit's probably a bad word, but let's do an audit of what you have going on. A review. Better, more positive. I like it. Let's do a review of your website. What's working, what's not working, where's it breaking, and kind of custom build what they need that fits them.
Yeah.
I hate templates. I hate like, hey, I want to go jam you into something. I don't like that. It's like, hey, let's custom build from there, and then we hold their hand through the process. So like even with the software, like, okay, hey, let's help get your contacts in. Let me help you. Here's how you invoice. Here's how you do this. We're really that kind of like an integration partner, but also like we'll build everything from point A to point B for your business journey. I'm not just trying to rack up clients. Like we really want to like, okay, because your path could be different from the other guys. And so sometimes your priorities are different, and what you're doing is different, but a lot of same stuff works along. So how can I use automation to give you more time back with your family? How can I use it to help you keep in touch with your people better? So end of the day, we can all sit at the dinner table with our family and be there.
Yeah. I was going to ask you this question, but I think I know the answer to it already, that if someone listening runs a small business and feels overwhelmed, like what's their first step?
Breathe.
That's not what I was going to say.
Sorry.
That's okay.
But breathe a second. First step back and take a piece of paper, write down the things that you feel like you're failing in, because those things are what's overwhelming you. Maybe it's kind of hard to do, but write up a piece of, hey, I think I'm failing here, I'm failing here, I'm failing here. And then you got a list of like, okay, from that list, take the 3 big things and work only on those.
Big rocks in the jar, man.
Yep. Work on those big ones, and the other ones will come later as you can. I think that's big. And then if you're discouraged, I know we get discouraged all the time. I'll look through my phone and scroll through sometimes. Maybe it's having I never get this. I got a thank you card from a customer today with a $40 gift card to like 4 different restaurants I could choose from. I'm like, that never happens. But it was what I needed today. So God knew that. But I'll go through my phone, and then I'll think of somebody that, hey, they need encouragement. I'm just going to check in with them, see if they're okay. So I'll go take a break and encourage them a second. And then my day gets a lot brighter.
Yeah.
So I use that technique a lot.
Well, what I love about your answer, which is not what I thought you were going to say, but honestly, you just proved that you are everything that you've been talking about, that you just really, that you want to help people, and it's not about the dollars. Because I said, if someone's running a small business and they feel overwhelmed, what's their first step? It wasn't call Media Lifeline.
Yeah.
It wasn't systems.
Yeah.
It was, all right, just take a breath, man.
Yeah.
Sit down with a pencil and paper, and blah, blah, blah. Everything you just said, it was just like, here, let me help you. Here's some free advice. You don't have to call me. But, a lot of people in the business world, if they ran into that person, it's like, well, let me show you what I can do for you. Yeah. And then you're signed up for a, $250 a month service and whatever.
Yep. I think it's just real, caring people, being real, helping them. And if you can help them more, that's cool. But like, side note, we don't track time. Nope. Because I don't want that roadblock to be in the way. We're going to help whatever they need. Here we are. We're going to help. Like even in my own world, my business coach gets on me. He's like, hey, you should track your time. Where's every part of your day going? I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be free in the moment to be sensitive. I used to talk a lot more, and I would overtalk people and da-da-da-da. But I stopped that. I've tried, and I'm still working on it. It's still a process because I want to go like, I have to stop to listen. And we see this even in you go to the medical doctor. Most of the time, they don't listen to you too long. They're going to just boop, 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 boop. Some of them do, some of them don't. But if you're in the business world, listen to the people you're serving. See what they've got going on. Take some time. That has been a little trick I love. Like, it's helped me so much. Just listening, seeing where they're at. Because what they need is going to come out. And also, I don't have the answer right away. Like, hey, can I think on that and get back with you? They're like, yeah, cool, So that's always a big one. So a lot of times as business owners, we're like, hey, man, I need to have that answer right there, So that kind of helps too. That takes some pressure off.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I love the business world because, it's like you see guys hustling, taking care of their families. I just see this big need of... the way technology is going, this is what scares me. The way technology is moving so fast, if we don't put safety measures in place in our businesses, we'll work 24/7. So having that balance with family, and you're looking at a guy that I haven't had that until the last couple of years, and I regret it, dude. I regret it.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at my kids. I'm like, oh wow, you're getting taller. But I can I can spend more time with them now.
Yeah.
Just because of simplifying a few things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
sweet. Well, look, man, this has been super fun.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me out.
Absolutely. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to cover?
I think we hit it, dude. I think we hit it, man. I'm trying to think through anything in my head. I think it's awesome. I'm grateful for what you do, man. I'm grateful for your friendship. I'm grateful for how you're serving people, and and
yeah,
it's really cool.
I've said it so many times. I'm just genuinely curious about people and their stories and the businesses that they run.
Yeah,
and all that Sunday Afternoon Smokes is really me connecting with local people, having a good conversation, shining a spotlight on their business. And as the listenership of the show grows, hopefully locally, more people that live in the upstate will have a better idea of the things that are available to them. Mm-hmm. I'm just a guy trying to help.
Yeah.
And having a good time doing it.
Yeah.
By the way, because I really like my show.
This is cool.
It's super fun.
It's very awesome. It's relaxed. It's cool. I've been on a lot of podcast episodes. I'm like,
really?
Though, yeah, very, very very short ones, like you call into them and that type of stuff. Okay. I wouldn't say a lot, maybe 5, okay? But
that's a lot.
You call into them, and it's very, very short, pointed, da-da-da-da. But I love the conversation, the banter, just seeing where it goes.
Yeah, that's what the show is, and it's just a casual conversation. We're going to explore who you are, and we're going to explore your business, and we're just going to let things unfold. And that works best, obviously, in long form.
Yeah.
You have to have it, and that's what I enjoy. So, well, look, one last question is, if you know of any local entrepreneurs that you think I should invite to be a guest. You don't have to know them. You can always text them to me or email.
Yeah, let me think on that. Okay. I've got a couple guys in my head that would be, I think, really, really good. I've got a couple guys in my head that I think would be good. There's a couple brothers that own a like a stone place. They've had the largest stone they sell boulders and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I don't know what you call them. Yeah. In the upstate, I think. So
that's not that place up here off of 123 with a massive flag.
Nope. No, I know that guy. So yeah, good guy, upstate Granite. Yeah. Paul owns it. Good guy. He'd be a good guy to have on. They do a lot of awesome stuff there as well. Good.
That's cool.
Good
I don't know
Christian-based
anything about
business.
rocks.
Yeah, me neither. These other guys, they're good guys. So the Granite, his story's cool, dude. So he supports missionaries.
Oh, I need to get him on the show.
You need to get him on the show. Great guy, been here. He supports missionaries, and it's just cool. God's blowing him up.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah. I'm
that
going
may
to
be
write him
one for you.
down. I'm going to put him in my handy note-taking app under future guests.
Look at you.
Paul at Upstate Granite.
Yep.
Referred by Cody Stinson. So, all right, man. Well, look, thanks for carving out a couple of hours to sit with me on a Tuesday late afternoon. It's been super fun. And, yeah, man, I look forward to seeing you at church.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Can you bring the donuts this week? We'll
Maybe.
See. We'll see
Well,
what
I'm not
happens.
going to be here this Sunday. My uncle passed away last night.
Oh, no,
so,
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So
Thank
you got to
you.
go to Texas.
I do in my
Oh,
family.
no.
Yes, like he been sick for a long time, was in a lot of pain, and so thank the Lord that he's out of it now.
Good.
And some grieving for the family to do. And he did claim very firmly that he knew Christ,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't a church going person.
Mm.
And my cousins, some of them go to church. I think some of them don't, but none of their pastors know him.
Okay.
And so they asked me to run the funeral.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
I get to go and I get to talk about
Ooh.
Jesus.
I love it.
So
I love it.
yeah.
It's always like bittersweet. It's like so cool, but it's also hard when it's family too. But
Yeah.
funerals are, yeah,
I tell you what, as a pastor,
Yeah.
funerals are much easier than weddings.
absolutely.
Much easier.
Absolutely.
Because I know the topic. It's
Yeah.
the same every time, just
Yeah.
a different passage. And
Yeah.
weddings are.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're off track here.
No, you're
Not
good.
that
Well, I
I
love
care,
it.
but-
And I think making sure that, people listen to the podcast, making sure that following Christ and being a believer in Christ, I wouldn't want to go through life without him. There's no way on planet Earth, man. I wouldn't want to face what's out there.
Yeah.
So, it's way better to go through life with him than without him, for sure.
Absolutely. Especially when you get to the end of it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
definitely. We're praying for you guys as you go down, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, you've been listening to Sunday Afternoon Smokes. As I said, if you want to help the show, give us a follow. I'd really appreciate it. But share Sunday Afternoon Smokes with your friends, with your family. Share it on your socials and share it with the world, because Sunday Afternoon Smokes is really sweet. We'll talk to you soon.